So we have the parasha. One thing that we do before Pesach, and this is not about Pesach, but one thing we do before Pesach is we read the parasha of Parah, right? That a person, it's a reminder for us that the Jews would go before Pesach and purify themselves with the ashes of Parah. Otherwise, since we don't have it today, so we read that parasha. What's the sense? What's the idea behind reading the whole concept of Parah? Is Chazal tells us it's against the Egel. When Bnei Israel did the sin of the Egel, right, with the golden calf, so now they have to purify themselves with the ashes of the Parah Aduma, the red cow, the red heifer, which really doesn't make sense. Rashi tells us, that the son messed up, so therefore the mother will overcome. What's going on here? What's the story behind it? So, as much as Adam HaRishon, this is where the Kabbalah comes. This goes into the Zohar section. As much as as Adam HaRishon sinned, and then there was a blemish for generations to come as a result of his actions. Again, as a result of your actions. And why am I lately very big on this issue of result of your actions, not a punishment? Because when we refer to it as punishment, we did something and we get punished for that, that in a way creates a resentment inside of us, and then we claim and we have anger towards that body or whoever it is that is punishing us. It's punitive. You're punishing me. But if a person would realize that as a result of his action, whatever happens to him, but he was the one who initiated that, maybe he would understand that he is the one to blame, not anybody else. Not anybody else. So it's a big concept, and I don't see it that a lot of people understand, nor is being emphasized that concept of it's not a punishment, it's a result, direct consequences to your actions. So when Bnei Israel were standing in Har Sinai, Chazal tells us that pakahazu mato shel nachash, that blemish that the initial snake had implanted on mankind and humans in general, and Am Yisrael in particular, at that moment it was finished, it was gone. When they sinned with the egel, it reconstituted itself. So, and we know that according to Kabbalah, that segment, that attribute that is involved in, I'll call it punitive just to make it easier, measurements, again, which is not, is midat hadin, judgment. You bring judgment upon yourself as a result for your actions, and that's midat hadin. The dinim, the judgments are on us, and that's not good. When everybody is looking at you with a magnifying glass, it's near impossible for a person not to make mistakes or not to or not to be found with something. There's always something you can find. If you don't relate to what I'm saying, I'll explain to you the following. If you, for example, will have to clean your room or your barracks if you're in the army, and your going home will be determined by how clean your room would be, you should know that you can never clean your room to its maximum state. There's optimum, not maximum. Why? Because I can always find, if I want, I'll find something. If I would want you to stay, I would come with a needle, and between the cracks of the tiles, I'll pick up some dirt and I'll tell you, you didn't clean. There's dirt. What is this? And I will ask you, what is this? and you would tell me dirt. And what did I ask you to do? I asked you to clean. And you call this clean? This is not clean. Is it clean? You said, no, it's not clean. Good, you're staying. And that's how the judgment works. You being asked, what's going on? And he says, yeah, you're right. Remember that. It used to be that they want you to be aware of what you're doing. So let's say, for example, you were, before you become a pilot, you go through the basic training of pilots. They will ask you, you need to clean your clothes and everything. You lick the floor literally, and then you need to clean your clothes. Your crevices needs to be perfect, straight. Your shoes shining. And then it says, your head, good. Your shoes, are they shine? Did you shine your shoes? And you need to be able to say, yes, because if you look, you fail. Say, yes, I shined my shoes. You did shine your shoes. Yeah. Pick your foot up. The bottom of your foot, you didn't shine it there. But I told you to shine the shoes. I didn't tell you to shine the top of your shoes. If they want you, they'll make you, and sometimes they'll do it just to be able, they'll break you and they could reform you into a different mold. So that's midat hadin, that's judgment. You can't break even with it, you can't. There's immediate consequences to your actions. Somebody lies to you, boom, does it bother you by the way? If it doesn't. You lied, your mouth, your tongue falls. You hit somebody, you're about to hit somebody, your hand freezes. Midat hadin, that's judgment. But what is that we do? It's called hamtakat dinim, sweetening of the judgment. In other words, we don't make the judgment so harsh. We make them a little softer. And this is the tikkun, the real tikkun of any person who has a bgam, who has a blemishes in his neshama. And the real tikkun, the real way to fix it, cannot be, by the way, Michael, put this over there, cannot be done by taking out that blemish completely. You can't outroot it. A person has a bad quality in him. You can't outroot it. Why? Because this is you. This is who you are. But it doesn't mean that you can make things different. We need to find we need to go down to the core bottom of the issue. Most people make a mistake. They always look at the end result and then they attack the end result. They never bother to go below the surface to see the root of that issue, of that problem. If a person cannot make a commitment, so you would criticize him, you can't make a commitment, or you're lazy, you can't, I don't know what, can't clean your room, you're lazy. That's the end result. The question is, why? Why is this person like that? We in today's day and age are not geared to deal with this because we don't have patience for anyone. Parents don't have patience for the kids. They hand it over to the teachers. Teachers don't have patience for the parents and the kids. They hand it over they put it in special ed. They send it back to the parents. And it's a vicious cycle until the kid goes simply out of the school system and goodbye, good luck, and so on and so forth. We don't have patience to deal. What is the core of that? That in a way would require a revolution in education and in our concept as well. We are too busy living that dream that somebody told us to live, or somebody else's dream, instead of doing what we really know is right to do. And you think about it. So we need to find the root of it, and then we need to sweeten it. And the Gemara says in Masechet Shabbat, a person that was born under the sign of Mars, Ma'adim. So he has a tendency to be a spill blood. So there's two ways to deal with it. One way is to be careful not even to step on a cockroach, not to step on ants. He's never going to spill any blood. So that's one way to do so. In this way, you are only fixing the din. You don't kill, but you never change this attitude that caused you to do so. And one day, you're going to take your guard off, and you're going to become a mass murderer. But what do we need to do? So the Gemara has an advice. Take this action in you and root it out. Direct it to a constructive path, not a negative path. For example, a person was born and he's cheap. He has a tendency to become cheap. Let's say, leave the Rambam 1 second to the side. So what could he do? Let him be cheap. If we're going to start spending money, that's terrible. But what could he be cheap on? Let him be cheap on somebody else's money, on other people's money. This is how you are fixing it into a positive thing. If a person has a tendency, I don't know what other people have the tendency? To spend money. Okay, fine, let's take the spend money. Spend money on mitzvot. Because all those people who like to spend money on themselves, but they don't like to spend money on mitzvot. When it comes to mitzvot, it is like, this etro, can I get a discount? It's too much money, and you know what I'm saying. So we take it like this. That needs to, when you take but this is much better. Why? Because when you take the mitzvot, or you take the tendency that you have inside of you, and you outroot it, what you cause is a chisaron, is lacking inside of you. And that lacking inside of you, that emptiness that you outrooted, it's like a tooth. If I will pull your tooth, there's no other tooth is coming. You're going to have a gap there. So instead of pulling the tooth out, try to fix it. You do a root canal. You make a bridge. You do something. You try to fix it. For example, a person, and it happens many times, a person has a tremendous, HaKadosh Baruch Hu gave him a tremendous ability to sit down and learn for hours. And he knows a lot. He knows what this one says, and this one says, where to find things, in the Gemara, in the Poskim. He knows a lot. But, he doesn't have this chush, the sense to give chidushim, new ideas, new concepts. But nevertheless, he sits down and he learns and he learns and he learns. You ask him, where's this? He'll tell you which page, and so on and so forth. His friend, he can say, oh yeah, that's I have a new idea. If a person like this, that is not a mechadesh chidushim, he is a baki, all of a sudden say, I'm jealous of this guy. They will give a chisaron in me. Because I am not like him. I'm not seeing that he doesn't have my qualities. I just see what I don't have. In other words, the worst thing that you could do for yourself, listen carefully. The worst thing, and that's what we all do as parents, as educators, and so on and so forth. Chazal were very wise. They say, Chanoch lanar al pi darko. Teach the child according to his ways. What does it mean? It means that later on, it is an experience for us to teach us, to define ourselves by what we are and what we have, not what we are not and what we don't have. Most people define themselves by what they're not. And they will work on and tap on this lacking that they have. I, for example, don't have, let's say, the physical abilities to become an Arnold Schwarzenegger. I don't. So if I would try to tap into that and to become a massive muscle man, I would basically have to change my whole entire life, leave everything behind, define myself by what I'm not, and dedicate to be that. No, most likely I would never be that either. I'm always going to be in the shadow of that image. I'm never going to reach it, because as far as I go, it's like Einstein, right? What I'm talking about, Einstein. What's the famous formula of Einstein?
E equals MC squared.
Huh?
E equals MC squared.
E equal?
MC squared.
What does it mean? Practically, what does it mean?
Relativity
Relatively, it means the following. It means that if I would travel, right, in the speed of light, or close to the speed of light, I would never going to be able to reach the speed of light. Why? Because the faster I go, the smaller the mass. So I would never have enough gasoline or burning material to push me, in other words, I wouldn't have enough mass to push me past the speed of light. I might get near it, but not past it. Because it's always going to go ahead of me. It's always, the faster you go, the smaller the mass. The faster you go, the smaller the mass. The faster you go, the smaller the mass. Because it's in relation to time and speed. So if I would define myself by why I'm not, I'm never going to be able to reach this point, because this person or this, everything, it's like the difference between regular Newton physics and quantum physics. In quantum physics, everything always is relative and it's in constant movement. Nothing stays the same. It is quantum physics, I think, is rooted within Torah. Nothing stays, everything is in constant movement. So I have a chidush for you. To that matter, we always become apologetic that we say that who revolves around who? The sun around the earth, or the earth is the center of the universe? How does it work? Which one is correct?
Earth around the sun.
Earth around the sun. So therefore, the center of our solar system is the sun, and right? But that is if you go with that approach. But it's all relative, because I can come up with a theory and say that the sun, that the earth is the center of the solar system, and everything is around. It's all relative to how I go. So this system is good, this theory is good, and that theory, it all depends on my approach. It's all relative. So here too, you need to define yourself by what you are. So don't be jealous at your friend who is able to be mechadesh chidushim, because HaKadosh Baruch Hu gave you qualities that he doesn't have. Define yourself by what you are, by who you are, but take it and make something good out of it. This is, by the way, this is a tremendous difficulty that people have in Avodat Hashem. In the way you do Avodat Hashem, with the way we worship HaKadosh Baruch Hu, is also by what others do, not by we are. I'll give you an example. A few weeks ago, I had a most wonderful davening experience. Most beautiful davening experience. The Chazan, I felt, really prayed from Mamash, from Mima'amakim, from the bottom of his heart. It was wonderful. Yet, who's there? Yet, people came to him and complained because they need to hear every single word by word by word by word. And therefore they says, don't do this anymore. Right? So, in Avodat Hashem, so now everybody's trying to copy this one or copy the other one. Where this guy davened and he really felt to daven like this from the bottom of the heart, that's why his tefillah was genuine. And when the other guys will try to do it to imitate him, they're just going to be imitating him. They're not going to be praying from the bottom of the heart. Where to one person, praying without a tune and saying word by word could be also good if he only does it from the bottom of his heart. But in Avodat Hashem, we always try to also do the same thing as we do around. We try to overpower and overpower and overpower and overpower. And we try to outroot things. We try to take away, disconnect. We don't try to do hamtakat dinim. And this is the difference when it comes to the Chagim. When it comes to the Chagim, the Moadei Hashem, right? Moadei Hashem worked at the root of the things, at the bottom of the things. And this is the limud that we try to do from the preparation for Pesach. Tomorrow, Bezrat Hashem, we're going to talk about the different types of chametz. But this is the preparation of the Pesach. It helps you. Don't look at the cleaning as a task. Don't look at buying matzot and shopping for Pesach and doing all these things as a task, as a way that you spend money and you complain about how much money it cost me. That creates a chisaron, a lekin in you. But try to understand that when you go down and you clean on your floor and you clean for Pesach, you show yourself, you demonstrate to yourself that you have the ability to go down to the root of the things, and that's exactly what we need. So the whole preparation for Pesach is to show us an ability that we don't break things, we don't shatter things inside of us. We are brave enough to go to the bottom, reach out to the bottom, and then bring it about to a positive action, to create a positive momentum in us, not negative, a positive momentum in us. And that is a tremendous thing. This is a tremendous inyan that Baalei Kabbalah brings and Baalei Musar brings in that matter as well. And we should all have happy cleaning and meaningful cleaning. Amen.